I am a lazy bastard. Anytime I play a video game, I always try and see how much of it I can automate. I just hate grinding for resources, and I love building and watching machines run. So, with Minecraft's new 1.21 update and the new Auto Crafter, I know it's technically just called the Crafter, but I like calling it the Auto Crafter because it sounds so much cooler, so shut up. I decided to indulge my automation addiction and try and automate every item in the game. But first I have to actually figure out how this thing works. I've seen a couple of mumbo-jumbo videos on it, and I have a basic idea, but I need some hands-on experience. Alright, so if I place this comparator here, I believe as I enable or disable slots, the power level increases. And then if I put something in one of these slots, it goes up again. Yep, there it goes. If I do this, it should be all the way up to a 9. Perfect. Alright, so with this rudimentary setup, I believe if I have all the slots filled with something, there it goes! But I don't really want to have to just do a 9 long redstone line. Let's see if we can't come up with something a bit more sophisticated. Let's see, Google how to compare redstone signals. Alright, so with this setup now, this should only let a signal through to the crafter if all 9 slots are ready to go. So if I do this, 8 slots, and 9 slots, there it goes. Alright, perfect. Now I suppose just having a hopper on top would work for certain recipes like the crafting table where it's all just one ingredient, but I might run into complications with other recipes that require multiple different ingredients. For example, the enchanting table doesn't really work because if I put all 3 ingredients in there, then it just fills up all the spaces with books. And then it tries crafting, but it can't. So I have to figure out a way to only put these ingredients in one at a time. Alright, so I've come up with this rudimentary system for now that just has 9 different barrels for the 9 different slots with all their hoppers locked right now, and I'll just have a sequence that goes down and unlocks them one at a time somehow by inputting a signal whenever we need the next item. Of course, there's nothing in these first 2, but in the next one, if I send that through, that'll let a book through. And okay, I didn't think about that. Is this what a pulse generator is supposed to look like? Oh, I guess so. Alright, so if I put an item in here, and this locks it. Good. Alright, so now I just need a way of making sure that it only ever accepts one item. Alright, so this is the design that I've come up with. Hopefully, this circuit will only ever allow one item to go through this hopper. So we'll test it out. We'll put in 28 planks. And it looks like there's 27 in here and 1 in the hopper. And then if I take one out, there we go. It only ever lets 1 in at a time. Perfect. Now I've just got to figure out a way to get this to only send 1 item down that chain at a time. Alright, so I think I've got it figured out. If I just send a 2-tick long pulse through this pulse generator, that should be long enough to deactivate this torch, just long enough for it to send 1 item through and to pick up another item from the top using this previously built circuit. So let's test that out. We've got 25 planks in here, 1 plank in the hopper, and nothing in this barrel. So here we go. Alright, let's see how it did. 1 plank in the barrel, 1 in the hopper, and 24 in the barrel on top. Perfect. So I've gone ahead and stacked up 9 of them next to each other, all with the appropriate ingredients for an enchanting table. So now if I just go back here and press these buttons in sequence, then we should get an enchanting table. There it is right there. Perfect. So now that the sequence is working, I just need to automate that. So I've come up with this sequencing system on the backside where using item frames and a lectern at the end, plus a bunch of comparators sticking out the back, it should only send a signal to whichever slot the crafter is ready for, because we're getting the comparator strength from the crafter itself right here. So let's go ahead and test it out by adding a redstone dust here. Let that signal go through, and okay, so it looks like it only enabled these first 2, which I guess makes sense because we've only got a strength of 2 coming out of the crafter right here. But we need it to be a strength of 3, so we need to figure out how to add 1 to this signal strength. So this is a redstone adder that I found online. It's going to take our incoming signal, which at the moment is 2, and then with this redstone torch in the first position, it'll add 1 to that signal, and using some fancy math with subtraction and some redstone torches here, we should have an output signal of 3. Perfect. So now whenever I add this redstone dust right here, the whole thing should work as planned. Alright, there's the first slot, and let's watch the rest. All right, so there's our last slot, and here in just a moment, our last ingredient should be coming through, and we get an enchanting table. Awesome. Another thing I noticed while testing is that whenever one crafting recipe is completed, it just immediately starts a next one. And this would be good if we just wanted the machine to consistently spit out items, but that's not really what I'm picturing. So in order to do that, I think I'm going to make use of some sticky pistons and the new copper bulb. Let's do it. So with this system, all I have to do to start a recipe is press the button on this copper bulb, which will activate that piston, allowing comparator signals through. And then with the same signal that activates this crafter will also deactivate the copper bulb, preventing any further signals from going through and repeating the loop until I start it again. Let's go ahead and give it a shot and see what happens. Now the last item should be coming through in just a second, and if I've done everything correctly... There we go. Perfect. So it spit out the enchanting table and also turned off this copper bulb. One thing that I did notice though while doing some testing is that if this barrel up here doesn't have any ingredients but the hopper does, it'll send the item through like this. But then it won't have any available for the next recipe, which of course is a problem, so I need to figure that out. So what I'm thinking is some sort of a check that would verify that there are items in the top barrel before allowing any signal through. Let's work on that. So I've gone ahead and made some tweaks and adjustments to the system, mainly this new circuitry here, which will only let crafting signals through to enable this hopper only whenever the barrel and the hopper both have an item inside of them. As you can see down here on this end, the barrel and hopper here both have an item inside of them, which means that this piston is being pushed down, allowing crafting signals to go through on this side, and this torch is shut on, which will push a signal through whenever this piston gets pushed up by this redstone torch. Let's go ahead and give this new system a try. Here we go. We've requested a craft, and now we can watch these pistons quickly activate. Well, not quickly, but... Alright, here comes our last item, and hopefully we should get a stone cutter in just a moment. And there it is. The system has been disabled, it spit out a stone cutter, and we're ready to request another one if we want. Alrighty, so the basics of this module are essentially complete. Now I want to add some additional functionality so that it can interact with other modules in the system and do things such as request missing ingredients and use complex recipes. But a lot of the functionality that I want to add to this machine is quite a bit more complicated than what we've currently got set up here, and it's going to take some time. So I'm going to move the project to a bit more of an open area and spend a little bit of time working on that. Cue the building montage. Bro, get the frick out of here. No, why the heck are you still switched on? Oh, here it comes. Yeah. So many dang comparators. Alrighty, and then if I just do this. Ooh, nice. Alright, if I flick this. Aha! Holy crap. That's not what I want to happen. Step 3, craft. Duh. How the actual heck did you get up here? Shut up. Alrighty, the module is finally finished. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the Omni Crafter Mark II. I did actually have a different design, but I kind of had to scrap it after some logistical issues. Anyways, this is the finished product, guys. I'll do a little bit of a demonstration here in a moment, but this is what it looks like. Now, obviously with this design, there's some added functionality that I didn't have over there while working on it. A few notable things that I won't go over in too much detail is these wires on the front. We've got a couple of different incoming and also outgoing signals on the back side for different functions of the machine. We've also also got a memory cell here to store certain data coming into the machine. A valve system here, which can control whether or not items flow into the machine or just pass on by it to the others nearby. A couple of comparing modules here and down here to compare incoming signals to some stored data. A system here in the back right on top of our previously built sequencing system to determine when ingredients are missing from their slots, as well as a couple other smaller features. But for now, let's move on to the big demonstration with all of these stacked on top of each other. With a top-of-the-line, sleek and modern-themed control panel, a state-of-the-art intermediary system, and an absolutely colossal processing unit, I give you all my masterpiece. Now, to be totally upfront with all of you, this machine technically doesn't automate every item in the game. It does a lot, but not every one. If I wanted to, I could just continue stacking more of these crafters at the end of the machine and continue to code in all of the recipes, but I kind of got bored and exhausted after about 100 of them. Anyways, moving on. Alright, so like I said, it's essentially just a bunch of these Omni Crafter modules stacked on top of each other with a big old control panel and a little intermediary work directly behind me. Let's go ahead and show off how it works. So for this demonstration, I'm going to be crafting an auto crafter. How fitting. To start, all I have to do is press this button or note block, and then I'll chase the signal down here to see what's going on. And you can see here the signal is now pulsing through the system right away. Now let's quickly teleport to the crafter module to see the incoming signal. The signal will make its way through, and we can see that crafting has now started. However, I've left out crafting tables and droppers from their barrels purposefully so that we can see the system send out other requests. Let's head back to the control panel to see that incoming request from the crafter module. Alright, to be honest, I think the signal may have been a little faster than I was anticipating because I'm pretty sure we missed it. Let's go ahead and zip back down to the crafting table module to see if it's crafting it. Alright, and this signal is in fact turned on, meaning it is attempting to craft. Oh, and it just finished. Looks like it's sending the crafting table through the system. Let's see if we can chase it down. And here it comes. Right there, our finished crafting table going down the item stream to its destination. You'll also see if I go into the crafting module right here and we wait for a moment, we'll have the item stream signal flowing down this wire. And here it comes. And now this bulb has turned on, initiating this valve and allowing items to flow into this machine. Alright, here comes the crafting table, diverting into this system right here, and eventually falling into its designated slot. Then this system should switch up and we'll catch the next outgoing signal here in just a moment. There it goes. The next signal going out should be for a dropper, which I've programmed as 264. And then if we wait here just for a moment, we should see this request received signal coming in from the dropper module, indicating that the request for a craft to send to this module has been received. We'll just wait a moment for that signal to come in. And there it was. Alright, so the dropper has now received the request and knows to send it to this module when it's done. Here in a moment, we should get a signal coming through on this item stream wire, indicating that the dropper has put its finished product into the item stream and is intending to send it to this crafter module. So we'll just wait a minute for that to happen. Oh, there goes the item right there, a little ahead of the signal it would appear. And there's the signal right there. Soon enough, this master valve switch should turn on, like so. And now we just have to wait for the dropper to make its long journey around the system back to this module. Oh, finally, here comes the dropper. Into this module. And into this slot right there. Then the whole system should turn into crafting mode. There we go. Master valve shut off. Crafting bulb is turned on. Our sequencing system seems to be working. And items are flowing into the crafter. So now if we just wait for a moment for this crafter to fill up. Alright, so it looks like this module is nearly done. One thing I want to mention before it finishes up is this stored signal right here is 888, which is the address I've designated for the control panel itself. If you'll recall, that's where we requested the crafter from. So here in a moment, oh, there goes the signal right now. We'll chase it down. I don't think we're going to beat it, to be honest. Let me just go ahead and use this command block over here. But down here at the intermediary, you can see the signals just being received, sent out, and the control panel is recognizing its own signal and has now opened up its own valve so the finished crafter can make its way down here and down a line of hoppers to the front of the machine. All right, here comes the crafter now. Down the chute, And then if we just weasel our way to the front, eventually we'll see this column light up, indicating that something has arrived in the barrel. And indeed, our crafter is here. Perfect. So there you have it. This is the machine, the auto crafter. You'll never have to manually craft an item ever again. I did spend a couple of weeks on this thing, but it is definitely far from perfect. For starters, the machine is fairly slow in multiple ways. The signals going through the system are pretty slow, the items moving through the item streams are pretty slow, and the items in the modules themselves moving towards the crafter are pretty slow. I know there are definitely some ways that this system can be improved outside of the speed, and I'm curious to see what you guys can think up. The world download and schematic files will be in my description, so check those out. And tell me in the comments what you've been using the new auto crafter block for. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. Subscribe. Alright, 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 alright.